Hello all, and welcome to my video. In this video I'm going to be building two shaker style classical columns, pedestals. These are for a customer. I had already delivered two of them to this customer, but both of them got destroyed during shipping, and so had to file an insurance claim, and obviously I wanted to build them again for the customer. So I'm rebuilding them, and I decided I'd take that opportunity to make a video of how I do it, showing the process. So enjoy. So this is a time-lapsed recording of the process. Here I'm just cutting down the stock to roughly the size, or roughly the height, minus a 3/4 inch top and bottom, and also a 3-inch base. And I have a jig here that I use to construct the shaft of the column. Here I'm just gluing it up, and you'll see me put it in the jig that makes sure that it's square and the correct size and everything. And skip forward, and I take it out of the clamps, and then start building the panels for the second column. So while those are gluing up, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the tops. The tops and bottoms are both connected with basically a mortise and tenon joint. The tenon part will get built and then glued and screwed to each top and each bottom, and then that will get inserted into the shaft of the column. But here I'm building the tops, and then after this I'll start on those tenons. So while those are gluing up, pulling out some 1.5 inch stock to make those tenons. I rarely use pocket hole screws. But here I'm just going to use pocket holes because it's not a part that's going to be seen. It's going to be inside the shaft. Nobody will ever see it. So they just need to be the appropriate size and need to be relatively strong. So I'm using pocket holes here with glue. Also, please excuse my messy shop. It's been a busy week and I haven't had time to clean it up, so I hope you'll excuse that. So here I'm just routing down with a flush trim bit the edges that weren't completely flush. It's not critical, but if I want my faces to be nice and square with the miter joint that you'll see here in a minute, I want those to be nice and flush. So just so that there aren't any gaps in those miter joints. And here I'm marking where those tenons are, how deep those tenons are going to be, so that I can drill some holes for some screws that I'll be screwing into the tenons. That's just that, and the glue will just make it super strong so that the tops and bottoms don't come loose from the shaft. And here I'm using my crosscut sled to get those nice and square so that they'll fit real snug in the shaft, because you want that glue to be, you want it to be real snug for that glue to really hold. And I'm testing the fit here, just again to make sure it's super snug. And once I have the fit, I cut the rest of them. Now I'm unclamping my tops, and I'm going to use a crosscut sled again to get those nice and square. The customer is having a piece of square glass cut to fit these tops, and I want to make sure that they line up really well. So it's important to get those square. It's also important for the molding to line up well. And so here I'm marking the tenons so that I know where the center is while I route down these tops, because these tops are going to be kind of flared out. So I'm using a cove bit to route a cove in there. And now I'm attaching those tenons with glue and screws. And then I'm going to attach the tops to the shaft with glue and screws as well. And I'm also going to clamp them. The tops were a little curved, and so I wanted to clamp them down so that they would bend down a little and straighten while the glue dried. And now it's time to make the bottoms. For both the bottoms and the tops, they both needed to be 14 inches, and the stock that I had was only 11.5. So I had to take an additional piece of stock to get those to be 14 inches. Obviously, I'd make them a little long, a little wide, and then cut them down to 14 afterward. Now this is the 1.5-inch stock that I'm using to make the base. The base is going to be basically stacked 1.5 inch stock to get me 3 inches. I'm going to be gluing these up into big panels, so I want to get rid of those roundovers that come on the wood. So here I'm just cutting those roundovers off on each side. And now I'm just flattening the bottoms with the joiner. And then those get run through the planer. I'll be using a flattening sled later on just because I want the bottoms of the bases, the actual bottom of the pedestal, to be nice and flat so they don't rock back and forth. But the base is going to be 16 inches square, and my planer won't handle 16 inches. So I don't have one big enough yet. So here I'm just gluing up those panels. I'm gluing up 2 panels at once. And I'll just set those aside while the glue dries. And here are the bottoms again. I'm going to square them up on the crosscut sled. And then I'll cut them down to size. Here I'm just using a smoothing plane to kind of flatten them a little bit, because one end is going to accept the tenon, and I want that to be flat so that the glue will adhere to it. And I want the other side to be flat because it's going to be glued and screwed to the base. So I want both sides to be nice and flat. And here I'm putting on those tenons again, just like I did the tops. The top and bottom of these pedestals are both going to get crown molding. But the crown molding on the bottom is much bigger than the crown molding on the top. And so on the bottom, you'll see me here in a minute making some angled pieces to go up behind the bottom molding. That's just because I don't want there to be a big void behind that larger molding. I want to give something for the brad nails to bite into, and I also want extra surface area for the glue to stick to it. I definitely don't want the molding coming off during shipment or anything else. So here I'm just going to glue those on. And I actually made a mistake here. I'll get into that a little later, but yeah, I made a mistake. Here are my two panels for the bases. And it's going to be quite a job getting these flattened out. That's where my my flattening sled is going to come out. So there it is. I'm just using a what's it called? A spoil board bit, 2-inch spoil board bit, I believe it's called. And it just flattens it out, and it's not a perfect sled, so there are some ridges left behind, and I just sand those down with a belt sander. And I went through 4 different belts sanding this down. The belts kept breaking, brand new belts kept breaking on me. So that was fun. I use double-sided woodworking tape to keep the panels attached to the workbench. It works really well. It's some pretty strong stuff. I highly recommend that stuff. It doesn't leave any residue, any sticky stuff on the wood or anything like that. It can be a little difficult to get off of the Formica top, but it comes right off the wood, no problem. I love it. Squaring these up on the crosscut sled as well, just like I did the tops and bottoms. And then cutting them down to size. These are 16-inch square tops for the base. And I'm gonna alternate the direction of the grain just to keep it from warping. I want it to stay nice and flat, nice and straight. And so the direction on each base, the direction alternates. So one slab goes on with the grain facing one way, and the other slab goes on with the grain facing the other direction, perpendicular to it. So those should stay nice and flat, and I'm going to connect those with both glue and screws. And it's the next day, and I'm going to get started by marking out where my slats are going to be positioned relative to the molding. So what I'm going to do is the slats are going to be 2 inches wide, so I'm going to cut a 2-inch piece of scrap and just use that along with the piece of molding, and just mark where 2 inches from the molding is on the top and the bottom. And I need to put the slats on first before the molding, because the molding is going to sit on the outside of those slats. So I have to mark where the slats are going to be beforehand. Now I'm going to use a piece of this 3/4 inch stock to make those slats. I'll wind up resawing it down in half because I don't want the full 3/4 inch protrusion on those slats. It's going to be more like almost 3/8. 3/8 minus half of the curve of the blade for each slat. And here I'm just marking the center of those 3/4 inch pieces so that I can resaw them in half. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions or critiques. I'm definitely open to any critiques you might have of the way I'm doing something. If you think it's wrong, or if you think there's a better way of doing something, please let me know. Now it's time to put an angle on all these slats so that they'll miter together on the corners. I'm just putting these on with brad nails and getting them lined up with each other to make sure there's as small a gap as possible. I'll go in later and fill in those gaps with wood filler. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, I'm a perfectionist, so I try and get them perfect. And here I'm doing the horizontal slats as well, which don't need a miter. They just fit right in between the vertical slats. I thought that I had made enough slats for both columns, but I didn't, so I only made half as many as I needed. I only made enough for one column, so I've got to go and do the whole thing over again for the second column. If you would like to purchase one of these, I have my own website at www.jmeclectic.com. I also have an Etsy page. It's EcLectic Furniture. But I would prefer you use my website if you could. I'll even give you a discount code for 15% off your first order if you message me. Now what I'm doing here is those angled pieces that I put on the bottom for the bottom molding, I put them on a little too early. I should have put them on over the slats, but I put them on before I put the slats on. And so here I'm just compensating for that by putting, I guess you could call it a shim, over the top of them to, so that the bottom molding will have something to butt up against. So it was a quick and easy fix. And now I'm cutting the bottom molding. I cut them just a little oversized at first and then trim them down afterward to get a nice fit. And I'm using these little miter clamps. I don't know if you can really see them, but they're really handy. And it allows you to get a nice and tight miter. It also holds them in place while you're nailing them. I'm going to take the clamps off and put the rest of the nails in and flip them over to do the tops. And this is a different crown molding that goes on the top. It's slightly smaller than the bottom. I want the bottom piece that goes up under the bottom molding to be nice and flush with it. So here I'm just sanding down the faces before I fill in all the defects with wood filler. Now I'm marking out all the defects that I want to fill in. And no, that's not peanut butter in that Jif jar. That's wood filler. It looks like peanut butter, but it doesn't smell like peanut butter. It definitely doesn't taste like peanut butter. So please do not eat the wood filler. It's Timbermate is the brand of this wood filler. I highly recommend it. It dries very fast and it sands down very smooth. It's hard to see all the defects when it's bare wood like this, so you'll see after I paint it, I'll go over it one more time with the wood filler because it's much easier to see the defects after it's painted. And now I'm going to seal one side of these bases with PVA, and that's just so that when I put my logo stamp on there, it'll stay nice and crisp instead of absorbing into the wood and looking a mess. And I'm filling in the end grain with wood filler on these, just because I don't want each side of the base to be rough after it's painted. I want it to be smooth, and I want it to look like a continuous 3-inch thick piece of wood instead of 2 slabs glued on top of each other. So that'll help us get that effect. I'm doing the same thing on the bottom of the column here, just filling in that edge grain. And now it's time to sand all the filler back down. Just hitting it with 220 sandpaper. It comes off very easily, even just with 220. going over a few more touches here. Some of these defects need a couple coats of wood filler. Sand it back down, put another coat on. Make sure there aren't any divots or holes or anything. And now I'm marking out where the column fits onto the base. Spreading some glue down. I'm going to let it sit on the glue for a minute. And I'm not going to let the glue fully cure, but I'm just going to let it get strong enough to where it doesn't move when I flip the column over, and then I'm going to screw it down with the screw. So I want it to stay centered while I screw it down, and that glue can act as a lubricant. It can move around before it sets up a little. So now, columns are pretty much complete aside from, doing a little bit more body work to them and getting them caulked. But that's pretty much all there is to building them. And I'm caulking the inside too, where the slats meet the face. It gives it a much cleaner look that way. It looks a lot better than just leaving it. I mean, the slats are put on there pretty tight, but there's still just a tiny little gap if you don't caulk it. And it's about time to get them painted. So I'm just going to blow them off, get all the dust off, and put on a light coat for the first coat, just a tack coat. You want the first coat to be real light, just to make it sticky, to give the second heavier coat something to stick to, so that the paint doesn't run. Now that I've got the first round of paint on, I'm gonna sand the whole thing back down. This gives it a much smoother finish when you get the final coat of paint on there. That first round of paint is just gonna be real rough because the wood grains will kind of stand up. Some people do what they call water popping and spray the wood down with water first before applying a stain or paint, but I find just sanding it down later creates an even smoother finish. And here I'm just gonna do some minor touch-up after it's painted so I can see those defects that I missed. And then once we get that done, we'll get it sanded back down and back out for paint. And again, I'm going to blow off the dust, and this time I'm going to hit it with a tack rag so that all those dust particles that stick to the surface will come off onto the rag. And then flood it with a heavy coat of paint. 2 more heavy coats of paint. And they're finished. And here's your finished product. Hopefully these will survive shipping. That's the most frustrating part of this business, is the shipping. It's the most stressful part of the job because it's out of your hands and it's up to the carrier to handle them with care. And these molding features are pretty delicate just by their nature. And it's hard to protect them sometimes, but I do everything I can. This time I'm going to build a wooden cage around the whole thing, and hopefully they'll survive. If that works, maybe I'll do that in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching.